Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. We eat sandwiches and play games. Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. A podcast for everyone's day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that all you tadpoles listen to. And this week, we switch it up and get into a sporty mood. The news is granting announcements. And as always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
I'm Hassel.
And I'm Joe.
Hey, everyone, we're all back.
We are back.
We are all back.
Back
again.
Give ourselves a pat on the back for being back. Pat say Jack. I don't know. don't know what he's doing here.
I wanted you to keep going with it. I was like, yeah, all right.
And that's a fact.
Knick-knack, paddywhack.
I've gotten into slam poetry.
I see that.
The past week.
I see that.
All right, back it up. Back it up. Nope.
But yeah, I hope you guys had as much fun as we did having a guest on. It was interesting because I know we've had a couple of on this year, whereas we'd had zero in the last two. So it's been nice.
It's been nice, and what a great guest. Still Loading Podcast was on last week. If you didn't catch that episode, go catch up. We went real deep on game preservation. Like, I learned a thing. I learned plenty of things. It was fantastic.
And if you enjoyed Still Loading on our podcast, check us out on Still Loading's podcast. I was recently on their Monkey Island episode, which dropped also last week.
Yeah.
I listened to that. It's adorbs.
Yeah, Monkey Island is pretty good, guys. I don't know if we've talked about it before, but
it's okay.
Yeah. Joe, I think you'd like it.
I have reasons I like it, yeah.
Brian, do you want to die today?
I don't know why Brian chose violence.
Yeah.
He did.
No, I didn't choose violence. I chose violence getting onto me, is what I think it was.
There's enough violence in the world. You don't need to ask for that.
True.
Yeah. Brian.
Goodness.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do our guests think that I'm imaginary?
Yes.
100%.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
That's the end of the conversation.
The real question you should be asking is, are you imaginary?
I ask myself that at least
Does
twice
anybody
a day.
really exist?
And if you are imaginary, which one of us is imagining you?
Ooh. If I'm imaginary, Troy is definitely imagining me.
Because you're always in my dreams.
Yay!
That was an
Boo.
or slam dunked it.
It was that, or because you're too good to be real. It could go different ways.
It
But
could.
I felt
It
like it was good branching.
You went
path.
the way. You went the way.
It was good. You did good.
You chose the correct path in that
this video game narrative adventure
yes.
that is our life.
Yeah, see, I think mine would also be Troy because I like dominoes too much for it to be Joe.
That's fair.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Wait, are you saying
Yeah.
whose imagination would be creating you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great game. Brian comes a close second.
Wait,
I appreciate
wait,
that.
why-
Robots don't have imaginations.
So it's definitely
But
Troy.
why am I?
It's definitely
Why,
Troy.
why am I first pick in this? I'm flattered.
Can I be the one imagining Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally down.
Okay.
And if I'm imagining you, who's imagining me?
Oh
Pepper,
gosh.
the dog.
Pepper. Oh yeah.
Pepper,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This
No,
is getting
no.
into a really weird
You would be the
existential
one
place.
that the robot would be imagining because the robot wants to feel all the emotions.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You're
go.
a program that the robot wrote so it could feel things.
Okay.
Yeah, because
this
you're all the
is-
feelings that the robot doesn't have.
Can't have.
Can't
oh
have.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a good segue to remind everyone that our summer of loosey-goosey
Summer of
bonus episodes is coming up in about 2 weeks. This is a nice 2-minute snippet of the lucidity that happens when we decide to not
Our
have
fast
Sunday
and
meetings.
loose summer.
That would have just been the entire episode. We would just continue to have gone with that. And
Right,
see
right.
where it would have left.
Yeah, we
This summer where we challenge ourselves to see how many times we can do a bonus episode before people start to notice.
Yeah.
But y'all, bonuses are not here yet. We have a plan today.
We do.
We're gonna follow it, albeit loosely.
Very loosely.
We got games to talk
let's,
about.
And let's start with it with the question that we normally do. And my question is, if you could learn one spell from a video game, what would it be?
Oh no, that's such
Oh,
a hard
man.
question.
Isn't it? Because
It's
also,
so good.
What video game would it even be from?
Easy for
man.
me. It
What do
would
you
be let's say whatever Final Fantasy. I'll go Final Fantasy 7. It's going to be Curaga, the highest cure spell possible.
Okay.
You're telling me that with just my sleepiness or my non-sleepiness, I can just heal literally anything. not only are those around me, you're never going to get sick. You're never going to have to worry about hurting your arm or falling off a bike or something. I don't know who's riding bikes dangerously here. Like, I got you. As long as I got good sleep last night, which is not always a given.
It's not.
Like, I got you.
And also, that's also great if the zombie apocalypse ever happens. That damages them.
Yeah. I'm going to be a high-level cure spell, and I'm just going to be hurting zombies and healing humans. And you know what else? I'm going to open a practice and monetize it, because this
is America, baby.
This healing ain't free.
Hey.
Okay. All right. But friends and loved ones, you get a special discount. You get the friend discount. It'll free. I'll say it right now. If
all
you're
right.
a friend
I
of
appreciate
mine,
that.
you get healing for free. Just buy me a beer or something. Preferably not before I heal you.
That
That actually makes it harder to heal.
That would be you rolling a nat 1.
Yeah, you don't want to know that. But I can't, like, if someone gets knocked out, I can't, like, bring them back. Like, if someone loses consciousness, like, if someone's in a coma, I can't, like, bring them back, right?
No, you can't. That would be insana.
That's a different spell.
That's a different spell.
So this is like you've hurt yourself, but you're still conscious.
Yeah.
I got you.
You got it.
Got you.
I like it. Very nice. Anybody else?
This is not my top pick, but this is the first thing I thought of, and then my brain got trapped in this answer. So this is what I'm going for. Is I like the Axie Witcher spell because it's basically like someone's coming at you, and you're like, calm down. That's what the spell does. You're like, okay, you could just calm down right now. Like, you can cast it on your horse if your horse is frightened, or if someone's like about to attack you, you can be like, okay, let's be honest here.
The spell is
awesome
just
spell.
The spell is just calmness of mind, right, or something like that. It is just a chill.
So yeah, you can cast it on NPCs if they're hostile, or even if you're just like, what if you wanted to pay me a little more? So basically, it's like a chill spell. It's like, hey, come, we'll have drinks.
I like it.
We'll just come. We'll just be like, it's like a hit of marijuana, but magically. It's just like, chill, man.
Wait a
Calm
second.
down.
Hold on. What?
Calm down.
Dang. Come to your local marijuana doctor. Manda
down.
over here.
If someone's got anxiety, I can just be like,
Hey, calm down. You might be a little paranoid, but calm down, all right? No problem.
You have to call it a one hit of marijuana. You could not have said that more like a cop.
Would you like a marijuana, sir?
I have this one weed for you.
Yes. Your store is called One Hit Wonder.
if it wasn't really obvious how uncool I was, our listeners learned something about me.
It's not the video game podcast?
That didn't give it away.
That wasn't it already? Okay, I did have a different answer before I asked the question. But Troy, if you're going to practice, I'm going to be right there with you. I'm going to take Insana. That way I can cure diseases. I can cure other things. And we just get into practice.
I'm not invited to the practice party with my curing of anxiety.
Once we're like legal in the state, maybe, but until then,
You can Axie's legal everywhere.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. So far,
are you outlawing only my magic?
It's not me. My hands are tied.
attacked.
My hands are tied
Joe,
here.
what are you doing? What can we do together, Joe, and exclude Troy and Brian from?
Everything.
Amanda,
Literally everything in our lives.
Manda's magic is sold at on the corner.
It totally is.
It's
Or
a
like in
very
a
nice
car.
bodega.
There's no actual store or corner. It's just in a car with windows that are slightly rolled down.
Gosh,
And
you're
like
stereotyping of my perfectly legitimate magic.
You
It's
don't
really
even
offensive,
you don't
actually.
even come to a full stop while you're just like Axie.
There's some
Someone's
people
like,
that really
thanks.
depend on Axie in order to function in day-to-day life. I can't believe that you would equate that with
cars being
dirty
sold?
street
Whoa,
magic.
Whoa! You're the one adding adjectives to this, okay? I didn't say anything was dirty about this practice.
all.
That just sounds really convenient.
Someone-
You're like the DoorDash of weed. This is fantastic.
The fact that someone like a block earlier takes the money and then you deliver the magic like a block later.
There's nothing wrong about that.
How little I know about this is balanced out by how much Hassel knows about this.
So, Brian, Isana, which is a spell from Final Fantasy, it heals poison,
Poison,
sleep.
anything you got
Any
wrong with
status
you.
effect.
If you are slightly drowsy, I got you. I got you.
Right. But once again, though, if you're like passed out, like you're like down 0 hit points, you can't help.
Okay,
with this.
0 hit points. I got nothing for you.
I got nothing for you either. If you got 0,
I got nothing.
We got nothing.
We got nothing. But if you got literally anything else besides death,
Right.
We got
if
you.
If you're bleeding, I got you. If you're not feeling,
Unless
if
you
you're
have
under the
anxiety
weather,
because I'm not invited.
actually, I think Brian helps with anxiety too.
I can cure confusion.
There you go.
That's not the same thing.
As someone who has been both anxious and confused, they are not the same thing.
Okay, fair enough. Oh man, this is the best.
Joe, Hassel, what do you think? Yeah.
So I think I'm a little lagging behind because I don't play a lot of Magic games.
Okay.
So I'm gonna resort to Animal Crossing for this one.
Okay.
Ooh.
And immediately 3 things popped up for me. Number 1, the ability to just make money grow on trees.
Okay, that's definitely magic.
Because
that is magic.
That's definitely magic, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, I want to be able to hold up to 30 fish in my pocket.
Ooh, that's
pocket
magic
of holding.
as well.
I get it, I
Yeah,
get it.
like
Yeah.
There's a
all right.
clear front runner here for me.
And number 3, that stupid wand that can make you change in up to 6 different outfits.
That is clearly
Imagine
magic as
having
well.
that and you're just like, oh, we're going to a gala tonight. Oh, yeah, I'm totally dressed up for it in like shorts and a T-shirt. And then you get there and you're like, whoop, hey, this is my tux.
That's like you would also
What's
be like
up?
a really good spy. You could just like
Yeah.
show up and be like, yeah, I'm in the wait staff. Then you go to the bathroom and then now you're not.
Nah, forget that,
Exactly.
man. Take the fish in pockets.
See,
I would take the fishing
But
pockets.
yeah,
then.
I am leaning towards the 30 fish in my pocket.
Yeah, 100%. Get that inventory space. Always get the inventory space.
I like it.
Also, can you hold some fish for me?
Well, they're in tanks too. They're not just like loose fish.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
you're holding.
yeah.
You've got tanks of fish in your pocket.
Yeah, yeah,
I can put entire trees in my pocket.
yeah.
Yeah, those pockets, game changing.
I think you would go with that. I like it. So you have a portable TARDIS is your magic.
I do. Yeah.
Is
or a
Hassel invited to your enterprise or
We
no?
do.
No,
We do need supplies.
because of the amount of stuff that I can hold in my pockets. Technically, I wouldn't be invited to yours, man.
Okay.
So
No, we have competing practices. Hassel's on my side.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you going to do with all those pockets, Amanda?
At whatever we want.
I just said I could put trees in my pockets.
She's got what? Step back. All right. Well, I don't know what your business model is.
Neither do we.
No, I think Hassel has a very good idea what your business model is.
Joe, what would you like your spell to be?
I have had I get existential crisis while thinking about this because
Okay.
I genuinely couldn't think of a spell that I use in any game, even if magic is part of the game.
That's true.
Because I just don't use them. Like, I think in Elden Ring there are 2 things I have, and I only use one of them. And there's like hundreds. And then I think about all the other games I've played, and it's like, I don't remember using spells in anything. What else do I play that has spells? And like I was like, oh, I never use the spells. Oh, there's that. I never use the spells. They have potions and that. I never use them. I just pick up.
I just had them.
Weapon. I had them in my pockets forever in case something needed to happen with them, but I didn't use them. And then it dawned on me.
Okay.
Okay.
I did use the freeze spell in Breath of the Wild.
Oh.
So, and then I thought about all the things in Breath of the Wild because I did actually use all of the things in that. And the freeze spell is probably the one I would use so that I could hang out with Manda. People need to chill out. I'd be like, freeze a second here. We talk about what we would want. And then unfreeze it. I could take
So you're
pictures.
freezing the time is what you
I'm
mean.
freezing time.
You're freezing
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, for a
Nice.
second I thought you were attacking people.
Well, I mean, with our business
Well,
model, that may be important.
Like you were encasing
We
them.
need to stop
You're
people for a
actually-
moment and like, hey,
Okay.
you want to chill?
You're not
Yeah,
icing
chill
them.
out. Calm down.
Right.
Calm down. Calm down.
I'm just actually freezing time entirely.
Okay.
So that they have to sit there for a moment and think about it. And then,
And then if they're being unruly, you freeze time, you hit them a whole bunch,
Whoa.
and then they just
Okay,
go flying
our
out of the
business
door.
model is not about violence.
No, it's
okay?
not.
Right.
No, it's
our
not.
Well, then
business
now
model
that
is
they
about
know.
Okay,
about.
hang on a second.
Wait, hold on.
Hang on. Because we technically are the wire to Troy and Brian's ER.
We're Grey's Anatomy at best. Thank you very much.
But it's like they're not ER. This is
You're
this
helping
has been
people physically, and we're helping people mentally.
great. Right.
Yeah, by freezing them.
Whoa. Don't you think it would be really good if someone who was red zoning for a moment that they had to freeze before they did something that they will be very regretful of it later in life?
I'm just saying that if I had Axie right now, that you could use it.
Right?
Maybe you need to calm
I
down a
would
little
have
bit.
froze you a
And you know
long
what?
time ago and made this not happen.
You know what, Amanda? I would take it. I think there may be a future for us financially.
We could be walking down the street and a car crash could be happening. I'm like, whoa, we're going to freeze that for a second here.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
You know?
That's
Get
fine.
everyone out of the car.
Get everyone out of the car.
You'll use
Totally.
Axie to calm them down.
Boom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry your car's broken.
Yeah.
You weren't in it,
Yeah.
though, thankfully.
Estelle will put all the
And then-
cars in his pockets.
Right. He
And
can-
then we'll
right.
walk
And then
to the
and
mechanic.
then charge them a block down the road for doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good plan.
And then if they don't pay,
I mean,
Then you put them back in the car.
that's where the free
Also,
spell comes in.
then the
please-
freeze spell
please-
comes back into play.
Please don't stop car accidents because that's the only way me and Brian are
was gonna say,
getting
we still do
revenue.
business.
So
That's why you guys should have thought your business model through, and you should have offered a spot in your ER of whatever this crazy is to
right.
Amanda.
It's
Okay, we'll just get a television show, Troy.
let's get our television show.
We're
I am going to
shift
freeze
into actors.
time and make it so they do not offer you that television show.
You have both the spells of the curing and the Ensaga and the Insana.
Insana, yeah.
And then also romantic tension. That's what your
So
model-
much. Yeah, that's why it's Grey's Anatomy.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Wait,
All right,
did
it
ER
sounds
like
not
a
have that?
match
Okay,
made
yeah,
in Shondaland heaven.
All right, we'll get our lawyers in touch with each other.
Yeah,
we'll
we
work
got
out
it.
a plan,
Okay.
y'all.
Okay.
We'll
Pepper.
make this
We'll get
happen.
Pepper. Yeah, she'll draft some
Draft that,
paperwork.
please.
Thank you. Thank you.
She is going to sleep in that dog bed right now.
She is.
She
Yeah.
could not
She'll get
give
to it.
any F's about this.
She's on pause right now.
Okay. Nope. Let's move on. What are we? Move on.
News.
Well, no, we're not going to news yet.
I'm excited.
I see that. But no, we're going to talk first about Switch Sports. And
That's
I believe that's
right.
going to be with what? You, Hassel?
It's a sports game, baby. Of course it's me. What up, everybody?
I don't know why I asked that. That was on me.
It's sports,
Right.
baby.
So yeah, this past week I got a chance to playing the new Switch Sports. I had to train myself to not call it Wii Sports Resort for the first maybe hour that I was playing it.
I still call it that.
Yeah, I'm still calling it Wii Sports, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's been Wii Sports for 10 years, and now they want it to be Switch Sports. They should have just kept calling it Wii Sports.
Yep.
They should have.
I for some reason was calling it Switch Wii Sports, which doesn't make any sense.
All the bases are covered there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sports.
They could have
Switches,
just
Wii
called
Sports.
it Wii Sports Switched. Like,
Well-
it got switched.
Well, it makes sense because the Wii is a branding choice,
It
and
is.
they don't have Wii's
It
anymore,
is.
and they want you to focus on the Switch. It just Wii Sports sounds right, and Switch Sports, it just
doesn't.
feels.
It doesn't
wrong.
sound
Yeah,
right.
it
It just
doesn't.
doesn't.
It doesn't, but you know what? I had a lot of fun playing it.
Tell us
yeah.
about it.
So if you're not familiar with Nintendo Switch Sports, it just I believe it was released late April of this year. It is the follow-up to Nintendo's Wii Sports Resort, which came out. Oh God, I think
Too
it was
long
like
ago.
maybe
Literally, probably 10 years ago.
like 10 years ago. Yeah, Wii U, right? If I'm
Yeah,
not
it was for the
mistaken?
Wii U. Yeah, the Wii U they did have one on there. Yeah, it was it was the resort one. Then they had
Yeah.
Wii Sports, which is what came in as the tie-in with Wii when you bought it.
And it's based off of the same principle of Wii Sports back in the day. It's basically you're using the motion sensors in the actual Switch remotes to be able to play through some simulation of sports. For Switch Sports, they had volleyball, they had tennis, badminton, soccer, bowling, and the sword thing that I can never pronounce correctly.
Kambara?
Sure. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't play it.
Wii Sports Resort is from 2009.
Oof. So
We were
that was
close.
13 years ago.
Price is
God.
Right rules. We're still good.
So I think what drew me to this game again was mostly a nostalgic feeling for, sitting around like my living room with my sister, who at the time I believe was, oh God, I think she was like 5-6 years old,
Aw.
and playing through Wii Sports Resort, and just being able to kind of like share that party mode kind of like party
Oh, yeah.
game that Switch Sports is essentially going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they also added some like fantastic online features that I'm going to go ahead and get to in a little bit. But I know that Troy and Manda were both playing it as well. So what did you guys think of this game?
I'm still really good at bowling.
Nice.
I pulled up the game and I was like, it's been a very long time since I played this, and we played through each of the games, and I got to bowling, and you get to play on the internet, so it isn't just like you're playing with like actual people.
Oh.
Unless there are no actual people, in which case it's a bot, and you can always tell when it's a bot. But I played bowling with real people, and I was killing it. I was
Smoking
killing
'em.
it.
I was in that same bowling match. I got kicked out. Yeah, the way they do bowling is kind of a battle royale. There's like 30 bowlers, and as you bowl, you get
Wow.
eliminated if you don't have like the highest 8 scores, the highest 5 scores, the highest 3 scores. Amanda went all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Wow.
She went all the way.
So you were a winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, I always get almost always I get a strike or a spare. Like I played Wii bowling so many times that like I have like muscle memory for it, which I think is a plus when it comes to bowling, but a negative when it comes to some other stuff.
Yeah.
Because like I don't remember the buttons to press to make the ball go really fast in tennis, and like people will use the shot against me, and I'll get really frustrated because I know there's a trick to doing it, and I don't know what it is, and I have to keep playing until either I remember or I hit it by accident. So if you guys know, drop it in the Discord. I want to beat some people in tennis.
So
That's-
I want to relate to you guys that Jembeeb sat down on the couch and was like, I want to watch you play this game, and I was like, hey, listen, let's do it. I love this. You love watching me play video games. And the minute we got to soccer, she goes, oh no. And I was like, what? And then she's like, this is Rocket League, but you're running around. And I went, yeah. And she's like, this is the worst.
This is Rocket League with literally more steps.
My favorites so far have been soccer and tennis. I think tennis is very intuitive. I think whatever the physics is of doing backhands and like forehands and stuff like that, it's there. And the ball behaves just like a tennis ball would. And I feel like it's absolutely amazing.
Have you played tennis with two people yet?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, I feel like it's like perfect when you have two different people. I mean, it's good when you're playing one person, but when you have like someone playing with you, it feels great.
Yeah. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am undefeated in online matches so far.
Well, that's because you haven't played us yet.
Oh.
That's
Sports.
also probably it's also probably because I will only play tennis and soccer because those are the two that I'm good at. When I was trying out all of the sports and I got to the sword playing,
The comeback.
whatever, Chimera, Cabra. I'm really sorry, y'all. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
I'm looking it up.
Okay. But when I got to the sword thing, I went through the little tutorial that they show you how to use the sword, how to block, how to hit, and blah blah blah. And then, just because Jambi was watching me, I see my first sparring partner come through, and it's a girl. So I turned to Genevieve, and again I said this as a joke. I was like, "They're sending a girl over." And it is one of those times where I was a victim of my own hubris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I was defeated 3-0.
As it should be.
I have a spell for that burn in case you need it.
It's okay. I got weed for it. So
Axie baby.
so I can't block. I
Gotcha.
cannot block in that game. It is like I've tried multiple times and I can't do it.
No. You know
It's
what? Everybody has a blind spot, especially with those games, because those games are so intuitive. You're like, oh, this is easy. Literally, my grandmother could play this, or a 4-year-old could play this or anything. But you always have that blind spot in one of the sports where you're just like, I just can't get it. I don't know what it is. I just can't do it.
How do you say it, Amanda?
Chambara. If there's an
Chambara.
H in it.
Yikes.
Chambara.
Yeah, it's like fencing and like sumo wrestling, where you're trying to push the other person out of of the ring.
Yeah.
By smacking them with a wooden stick.
Smacking them with a big wooden sword.
Amanda and I got into a really good groove, and I was surprised at how much we enjoyed the volleyball games. And it was the two of us playing, and it wasn't until we were playing against two other like real people, not bots, where I was like, "Oh, it kind of feels like volleyball." It's like mentally, where it's not just, hey, you're going to hit the ball over to the other side. It's like, no, you have to set up your partner to get a good advantage to like spike the ball. So it's a nice exchange of like the ball comes over to our side. I lobby it up. Amanda then sets me up. I then jump high in the air and spike it down. And then on the same side, you're on defense trying to block the other team from doing so. It's like a 3-step process that feels really good if you pull it off, like every part of it well.
If you get the timing perfect, it like stacks and your ball moves faster
and more harder to hit.
You know how sometimes you play racing games and you have those people that like lean when they play racing games? When I play volleyball, I have to jump. The game does not make you jump, but like if I go to block something, I go to put my arms up and I always do like a little hop.
It was the same thing for me, but it wasn't more of a hop. It was almost kind of like getting on my tiptoes when I was playing volleyball. Because I need that kind of motion to get my timing correctly, because the timing is everything in that volleyball game.
Yeah.
Going back to the soccer for just a second.
Of course.
I really hope that and listen, this game is geared towards like, everyone in the family, because like Brian said, everybody can play this. It's, to all the parents out there, if your 4-year-old was playing soccer last night and they were getting absolutely destroyed. Like, it was... I've been playing online, and I haven't lost a game because, you know what? I keep that, like, tight defense, counter-attacking offense that Sir Alex Ferguson started in, like, the 90s. You can't communicate with anybody else, but everybody gets it. So, like, I sit back in the midfield, and I'm like, hey, I'm controlling things. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, you push the defensive line, make sure you don't get offsides. I understand this soccer.
Exactly, yeah. Troy's on FIFA now, so he's, like, my best friend ever.
Yeah, I know. I know soccer.
The one thing I will say is Gemby specifically told me to relate this information.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
There were multiple times where I actually scored on myself.
Wait,
while I was trying to learn how to
No.
play the game, and I would confuse the kick with the dive.
Oh no!
So instead of kicking, I would just dive forward and hit my own ball into my own net. And I'm like, well, okay. Yeah.
No one's on me.
That's how you know it's soccer, because there's a dive button.
Exactly. Yeah.
That does bring up a good point. Is some of these games, at least I feel like I've been paired against people that were much better than I was, or it was very challenging, especially the sword fighting. And there was one round where I played tennis, and they just got stomped by whoever was playing tennis.
It's probably me.
I hope that if I were a kid playing this, that behind the scenes Nintendo has a system to be like, maybe I'll pair you with other children or other people of your level, because I would feel really bad if I was like 9 and I went to play this, and every time I opened a game I was murdered.
This is just Nintendo's version of being like, hey, life ain't fair.
I mean, you could play locally and just play with people in your living room, and then
play the computer.
Maybe that's what you do. Or you can't choose. Well, I guess if you play locally, you can choose to play the computer. Yeah.
Other games, they had
you don't
badminton.
get rewards. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about rewards in a sec too. They had badminton, which is like tennis, but a little different. I grew up playing badminton, so I had fun just hitting birdies. It's just a different kind of pace, but pretty much the same thing.
I like how you were like hard pronouncing that, whereas myself, I was just always say badminton.
Nah, badminton.
I see that. That's why I was like, man, Troy's going hard on that.
Put some respect on that sport.
You can
Constantly
feel
overlooked.
the English upbringing in part of your family with that T there.
Yes, my mom. Yeah, it's very big on pronunciating your T's. Okay.
I feel that.
Yeah.
My family is not.
Is that all the sports? Is that all the sports?
I think so. Yeah. So
Bowling,
we talked about
tennis,
bowling,
volleyball. Yeah.
soccer,
And they said when they
volleyball.
released the game that there will be more sports later.
I hear golf
that's
is in the
awesome.
works
Ooh.
Yeah.
to be released.
That must be like a driving range or something, because they already have a whole golf game. I don't know why they'd make another golf
It's a
game.
little
But
different.
maybe if they had like a
They'll-
driving range, that'd be fun.
They'll probably do the whole like Wii Sports thing where they had like a 9-hole course
Oh, okay,
that you can
okay.
play.
No,
That
fair.
makes sense.
While you're waiting to start like a game, like it kind of like shuffles through the city that you're in, and
is it
you do see a
Scoropolis?
racetrack there at some point.
Nice.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool.
Maybe some race car stuff.
And it's the beauty of buying a video game in 2022, right? Like most of these games, like they'll come out with like a set number of things that are in the game that is going to increase. And
The game is
like,
alive.
6 months.
And it is
Yeah.
growing.
But
Yeah.
it could also be a deterrent, though, because maybe they would have released it with all that content already if it was in 2022.
Yeah.
that is
They
yeah.
would
true.
have worked on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll get people to buy
Yeah,
it.
but that's interesting.
Anyway,
I can absolutely see there being like go-karts in the game, because go-karts would definitely go with the Wii. I'm sorry, the your avatars that you have in there.
Yeah.
Speaking of avatars,
Yeah.
they did rehaul them in sports games past of Nintendo style. You would play as your Mii, which
Okay.
is kind of your little version of it's limited, I would say, in how it can look. In this one, you have kind of a more up-resed avatar that you can customize.
Okay.
It looks more realistic.
It looks very, very much like you're just customizing a Pokemon character. Like
Yeah.
the artistic style is very
Yeah.
much that, and you're limited to your
That's
choices.
cool.
And it's cool. It's like super gender fluid. Like it's just like
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
is there. It's just like wear whatever you want.
But that's where they have a cool hook, because you get limited customizations at the beginning, but then weekly you have challenges that you can complete, and if you complete those, then you get more hairstyles and eye colors and costumes and clothing.
Yeah.
And,
It's pretty cool because they come in packs. It'll be like a rainbow pack or like a noir pack. I don't think they have a noir pack,
That'd
but
be great.
hopefully
They
one
have
day.
That'd be
and
cool.
they have a soccer pack right now that comes with like goalkeeper gloves. It's like super cool.
And when you level up, you can pick which pack you want, and then it'll randomly give you something in that pack.
Oh, okay.
And then it grays out, so you can try and continue to get something random to get the whole set, which incentivizes you to want to just keep playing. And
So you never get duplicates, which is nice. And then
Yeah.
also, like, if you really don't like a style, you don't have to get anything from that style. You can't, like, pick what you want, so there's still, like, that kind of, like, gotcha game quality to it. It's like, oh, I have to keep playing because I really want those sunglasses. And
There
they
wasn't-
go away in a week.
there was an earring that I really wanted. I'm like, I want to
Yeah.
be cool guy with an earring and a beanie.
And what was really interesting is Troy and I had the same sets,
Okay.
but we had different items. So
Oh.
he could get things in his week that I couldn't get. So I'd have to keep playing to try to get those in different
Interesting.
weeks.
Interesting.
pretty cool.
So it's not the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Then.
I don't
Correct,
know if it was just
yeah.
like different
Right.
colors or something.
Well, you
but
had
they were same
earrings. I
style.
didn't have earrings,
Oh,
but I had
okay.
the COVID mask.
Are
And
there
everything-
hats?
Yes.
Brian, we
Yeah.
might have to get this game.
There are hats.
The amount of tennis matches I won, like 7-0, while wearing a crop top. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
I love it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, overall, like the game, it does what I wanted it to do. Right? It hit me in that nostalgia brain part. I don't know what to call it.
That works.
Yeah.
That works, yeah. Words, things, and you know, it is a lot of fun to play, and it is a party game. Like I could definitely see bringing people over to my home and putting this on, and then we can play.
I think the max you can play with is 4
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah. All right. Well, nice. Well, okay. If this game was a sandwich, what would this sandwich be? What do you guys think?
I'm thinking sliders.
I was thinking like a healthy smoothie, because everything's
Oh,
a
okay.
sandwich.
Everything's a sandwich.
Everything's a sandwich.
Yeah, I could see it being a smoothie. I could see me tossing a couple of pieces of bread into a blender with like peanut butter and like fruit.
So in the fiction of the game, there's a sandwich smoothie shop that's next to the rinks. They tell you about it during the loading screen. So maybe this is like a soup and smoothie combo. So we have like
A soup and smoothie.
oh, sorry, a
combo.
sandwich and smoothie.
Okay.
I see nothing wrong with soup and smoothies personally.
It's
Right.
just that hot and cold combo.
Oh,
Iced
yeah.
hot.
It's
Nice
like
hot.
surf and surf.
It's a soup smoothie.
I don't like it. I don't like this.
But no, yeah. So I can see that. Yeah, a slider slider or smoothie combo
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah.
You got some finger food and you can drink it away.
Like a turkey slider.
Yeah,
and
and
then
like light. It's like cucumber little sandwiches.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
something light.
Something you can eat and then exercise
Yeah.
like immediately after
It's
and not
easy.
feel heavy. Yeah.
Oh, like a turkey, bacon, egg, and cheese.
Ooh.
That is no what?
Sorry, that was delicious, but I could not eat that in a run.
Amazing. All right, well, that is, what was that? Switch Sports?
Nintendo Switch Sports.
Nintendo Switch
Nintendo
Sports.
Switch Sports.
Well, thank you guys for talking about that. Now let's get on to the news. And we have a pretty hefty news cycle this week, everyone.
I'm so excited.
I know, right? Let's start with the goodish news first. So this week, it came out that the Ukrainian developer Frogwares, Amanda, you've talked about them many a times.
They make the Sherlock games.
They do. They make the Sherlock Holmes games.
Correct.
And they are actually getting a grant from Epic Games. And the Epic Mega Grant, as they call it, is going to be used to help pay their employees and to help relocate others that have been displaced due to the war. And they haven't disclosed how much it is. Normally they're between $50,000 and $500,000. And yeah, I think it's great. I think they're doing the right thing with it. They're making sure their employees are going to get paid. And they've actually been talking about how some of their employees are actually might be going off and fighting in this entire thing. So they're trying to do what they can for them or their families or whatever. So,
and Frogwares has been equally as diligent about their post about the war and what it's like there in Ukraine on a weekly basis, if not more. And they've been just as diligent as to still trying to work on their game. The latest Sherlock game just came out with DLC somehow.
They've had really up-to-date posts about what's going on in the war, but also how it's affecting them as a studio.
Yeah.
They just released Sherlock Holmes
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1, and they intended to release it for both Sherlock Holmes Devil's Daughter.
Oh, okay.
And they intended to release it for both the Xbox and the PlayStation. They're releasing it for PS4. They were backwards, whatever you do.
Yeah, backwards compatible.
But they had to cancel their Xbox release because they were we just logistically cannot do it because of the things that are happening with the war. And it was really nice to hear them talk through how things are affecting them to that level of detail, to be we're all displaced and we're in different places. And they're based in Kyiv. Yeah. So they're being directly affected.
They put out a nice statement on their Twitter about the super grant, the mega grant. Mega grant about how pretty much they were like, hey, this grant is going to be used to bring our people to safety somehow.
Yeah.
To just help us get to a place where we can be comfortable and not in fear.
Yeah, they have two offices, one in Kyiv, and I think their other one is in Dublin.
Yeah,
so I don't know anything about their plans, but it seems like they're going to be moving people more towards their other office.
Yeah, or wherever they want to be.
Yeah.
Because, hey, it's crazy out there, especially for those. So, yeah.
All the love out to them.
Absolutely.
And well done, Epic, using them big Fortnite bucks for some good out there.
And then let's move on to, we mentioned this rumor earlier this year, but now it's official. I know, rumors. But it's official now. And Hassel, I think, is going to be all over this. EA's FIFA franchise is no more.
I thought you were talking about us getting bought out by a studio.
I'm not going to announce that now. We got to make sure we go through the paperwork first.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
But, fear not, though. The game itself, it's still coming out. It's just changing names to EA Sports FC.
Okay,
so
FC,
football club?
Football club, exactly.
I know this.
You do now. It was funny because before you started playing FIFA, I was going to ask you, hey, Troy, what do you think FC stands for? But
Brian,
now you know.
Brian broke this news last week to us and mentioned the title of this, and it just landed on deaf ears. Didn't make any sense. You mentioned it this week after I've been playing FIFA for a week. I'm like, oh, yeah, FC, easy. Yeah, it's a football club. Yeah,
no problem.
You mentioned it. Yeah, gotcha. No problem. Man. That's wild.
Isn't it? And it's interesting.
Not as fun to say.
No, it's not.
What do you just call it? FC for short, maybe instead of
probably. Yeah,
hey, this is this year's FC. Let's go play some FC.
What if you call it a footy club?
Footy club wins.
That's a different
you guys
club.
play
That's a
footy
different
club?
game right there.
Hey, I don't know if you want to be part of that club.
You guys are the worst.
So
You're no fun.
Now we're being weird. It's our fault.
Yeah.
There's an iOS application that'll have highlights for soccer games, and it's called Footy Light.
Yeah, see?
That's cool. I like it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You've turned me around. I'm all for it now.
I'm interested I'm interested to see what title FIFA is going to give their name to now. Now that EA is no longer going to be the distributor for the game. So, I mean, their naming rights is going to go to another soccer game. So I'm interested to see which one is going to be.
Could someone give me the quick shorthand to what led to this? Like, there was money, bad,
Pretty much, yeah. So I'll explain it.
There's money,
so
bad.
So basically, yeah, EA had paid for them. It was a 10-year contract. And I think it was like $150 million per year.
For FIFA.
And I believe... We don't know because they've never really released the details of this, but we believe that FIFA was asking for shock and surprise more money, but it wasn't like a little bit; it was like double or something along those lines.
I think
was
they
like,
wanted.
no.
I think it was way more than double. It was
$300 million per year, or
it was
even
supposed
more
to
than
be
that.
like within 4 years, it was going to be $1 billion or something.
Yeah,
so
it was
or 3 years, it was
escalating.
going to be within
that's
$1
all it
billion
was.
they had to pay per year, and it was something crazy.
It was something
like that.
crazy, and EA was just like, no, we can just not, because we can still just we're also not paying you guys for the rights to these players.
Right? Do they get the players?
Yeah, the players are completely separate. Those
Oh,
are
then
all,
what is FIFA asking for?
They're asking
name.
for their name. That's exactly
That's
all.
wild.
I think I don't remember which, if it was the president of FIFA or whoever.
Oh, it's the president of FIFA.
He
yeah.
came out and said that they're still going to put a game out in 2023, and they're
With who?
building. They're doing it themselves.
FIFA,
they're building
they're
it.
they're just like, we're gonna, and it doesn't matter because the fans are gonna want to play FIFA. They're not gonna want to play any other game. And it's just like,
maybe he'll trick some people into thinking that it's
for a
FIFA.
year or two, that might work.
For a year.
Oh well.
But they've been making that FIFA game for such a long time. They have like fine-tuned that experience. Someone coming into the game knew was going to have a hard
It's very polished.
time.
On the other end, on the other side, being someone who's playing FIFA, it definitely feels like a conversation that's been happening for 20 years that I'm just walking in on. Where I'm like, what's
absolutely.
going on? So having some competition, not a bad idea to be like, here's a fresh idea of FIFA that maybe FIFA can pull it off. They get their own game company. They can make something that is very interesting.
What if they hire the developers from Rocket League and they just put legs in the cars?
Ew, no.
Or
What? That's
Oh
what
my god, I
soccer
would
is.
live for them putting legs in the cars, but the cars, it's like two little
What
feetsies. And
Oh,
that's
no.
a footy club.
See, I went like
Footy
I
club.
went long legs with like tall socks. Like I didn't like that visual
What?
at all.
Yeah.
what
I
kind
love
of
it.
Sid from Toy Story dream do you have going on, Manda?
I went even worse. I just went to the legs are there's just like 5 of them on for each wheel is, and they still spin.
5?
So
Oh
there's
my
just
gosh,
so it's like
I
no,
did not
no,
go
no.
there.
That's
You
the
know.
worst.
I literally just
idea.
popped legs on the bottom of the
Yeah,
car, like
and
the
then they
car
walk.
was like
You just
the
put shoes.
torso.
Yeah,
Then the
you
just
legs
put
just ran
feet.
around.
No,
I put-
legs.
Okay,
No, I put
okay,
legs, yeah.
okay.
But I could
What
see
about
feet
putting
like Kirby. I could see little like red feet underneath it, and it's
That
just pitter
that would be
patter.
very
cool.
cute.
I like it.
What about putting rockets on humans?
Yeah,
this-
also
this
go
is
with that.
doable.
Also go with
All
that.
of
That's
them.
also
Yeah,
I'm
right.
fine with that
Yeah,
as well.
Yes.
Great.
But yeah, it's interesting. FIFA is also a company that does not need more money. They already get enough bribes and back shady deals on their own. They don't need an additional $150 million a year. So
I still can't get the image of a car with 4 legs out of my head. I'm sorry.
yeah, and they're just spinning around.
This is interesting because this is controversy on top of the other controversy, which is the loot boxes. So
Yeah.
you can't sell
Yeah.
FIFA in certain countries. So
That's true. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm sure it's just going to be the exact same game. It just doesn't have FIFA on
Estelle,
it.
are you buying both the games?
So chances are I'm probably just going to buy EA Sports, whatever they come out with, because it's probably going to be the more polished. They already have the developers on that team.
Yeah.
And they're actually retaining the rights for the teams and the players.
Correct.
So it's not going to be like you're playing like San Diego FC because there's no real like LA Galaxy team. Like the teams are going to be there. The players are going to be there as well. So like, yeah, the EA Sports one is probably going to be a lot more polished than whatever FIFA comes out with.
Agreed. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it leads. And then let's go and talk about the Nintendo Indie Showcase, which happened last week as well.
Yes, it did.
And yeah, it was 24 minutes. And they showed off a bunch of like new games or games that are now coming out for the Switch.
We here at the Taste of Dragons, We love indies.
Oh, we do.
We really do. And this showcase had like 4 or 5 that just right off the bat, I was like, yeah, I'd play that. And a lot of them were all coming out within the next couple of months,
Yeah,
which is even
real
more
nice.
exciting.
Yeah.
So was there anything that stood out to you all that you all saw in the showcase?
I'm terrible with names, but I believe there was one that was a card-looking game. I know we were talking about a very cartoon-looking card game. And that looked fantastic because I love myself some deck building roguelike card games.
Yeah, that was Wild Frost.
Wild Frost. There we go.
Frost.
Yeah, and that comes out I think later on this year. I think
It looks
this
like
holiday.
a deck building game where you also are managing a village or a town.
Yeah.
And have to put resources into that town to make the town better, which are 2 things that I love in video games.
Exactly.
So like, sign me up.
Yeah, that was my I think highlight of that for
Nice,
the indie
nice.
showcase.
Mine was definitely the Another Crab's Treasure. I was like losing my mind on the idea of a very goofy looking Souls-like crab. Like you're a crab and you're finding shells, and like I was just, it's just so cute looking and still supposed to be kind of hard, I guess. So I'm there for that.
That game at first I was like, all right, but when I realized that the premise of it is this crab lost its shell, and so the idea that it's just on the ocean finding trash.
And
Like
to
cups
to sell so it
and-
can buy back
and-
its
I was gonna
shell.
say,
Yes, right.
Yeah, it's not like it lost its shell. He like I think he pawned it
Oh,
or
it
something
like
like
got
that.
repossessed.
And he got repossessed, so he's
got
trying to buy
repossessed.
it back.
It's really funny and also a good commentary on trash in the ocean, y'all. Be
It is.
out there.
Oh,
Be out
absolutely.
there.
Yeah, 'cause I think they were saying that there's going to be 50 different shells in the game,
Yeah.
or more, and some of them looked amazing. Like one of them looked like it was just like a Lego brick.
Yeah.
And they called it, and it's not a Souls-like, Joe. It's a Shells-like.
That's
game.
right. It was a shells like.
But yeah, I agree. That looked amazing.
I am terrible at remembering the names of certain games, so I had to look it up. We Are OFK is the one I'm kind of looking forward
Yeah,
to.
me too.
It's got that really interesting art style, and you're like a musician living in Los Angeles, and like your dating life comes into play. It's got all that drama.
And you're just in a band trying to go on tour, living. It's a lifestyle
Yeah.
game. Like I love that.
It's like a lifestyle, but rhythm game as well.
It feels like the most indie
Yeah.
out of the indie games.
I agree, actually. Yes.
This indie game about an indie band who's going on an indie tour.
Yeah, it's great.
There's this game called Wayward Strand, which takes place on a flying hospital.
It does.
And you play as this 12-year-old like precocious girl who is just, I don't know why you're there. You're just like, it's like Nancy Drewing it up. and the hook of it though that got me is it's a hospital. There's things happening, but everything is happening in real time. So you're kind of going around, you're eavesdropping on patients, which is very not okay. Or you're just going in and having conversations with them, which is also not okay. Or whatever is your reasoning for kind of investigating. If you're going into one room, whatever is happening, like if you're in room 2C, whatever happening in room 1B is still happening at that time. It doesn't stop. It's almost like an immersive theater experience.
Yeah.
Which I'm so intrigued about. And the idea is you'll go through this playthrough, I guess, and you'll see everything as it's happening throughout this day. You'll learn a bunch. And the idea is at the end of the day, maybe you go back and you replay the game, and then you check out different areas of the hospital, and you'll start putting together storylines and mysteries or personalities or how they're connected. I'm just very curious how it's all going to come together. And you also get dialogue choices. So you can play this 12-year-old like as like snarky as a 12-year-old can be, and I will. And I will. I am not here for anyone else but my own mysteries, for my own conclusions.
Yeah, I think what was it? One of them was like the guy comes over, he goes, "Okay, is your name Casey?" And she's like, in like one of the dialogue choices, just like, "No, my name is not Casey. It's Casey."
Yes, Casey. You tell him.
Damn.
You tell him.
10 out of 10
Casey.
snark.
So cool.
It's so good, and I agree. Like I do like how everything plays out at the same time.
Yeah.
So you don't know different threads, and even if you do, like, say you're like, all right, great, I got all of this story, and then like, all right, I'm going to play it again. You start like playing a different thread. Maybe in another thread, something
you change
connects
something.
to it.
Yeah, or
and it's just
something.
like,
Yeah.
or it changes your perspective on it. It's like,
Good.
what?
I think, man, you played a VR game that was a murder mystery in a house that kind of played with that idea.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. I'll have to look up the name of it,
Yeah.
but it was you were in the VR headset and it was your murder. You had already been killed, so you were walking
you were
through,
ghost.
watching the events of the murder.
Gotcha.
And everything happened at the same time, and then you had control of time, so you could like follow someone throughout their entire course of the thing. And then start over
Wouldn't
and then
that-
follow someone else.
Wouldn't you very quickly be able to find out who murdered you? though?
No,
You just follow
surprisingly,
everyone?
no.
That's great.
I think it's one of those things where like organically they put you in a situation you're so excited you're like, oh, I'm gonna follow this.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't like
I would-
immediately think of like I'll go to this place and then see the obscure.
I watched
option.
you play a good deal of that. I think I want to find it. I think they may have it without VR.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I need to know how that story ends.
It's definitely the type of thing where they depend on you getting distracted because
Good,
like
good, good.
sometimes someone will be really boring for a while and then someone else will walk by and I know I should continue on the
Right.
path that I'm on, but that other story looks so much more interesting.
But it reminded me so much of theater, like a
Yeah.
Then She Fall or a Sleep
Yeah.
No More, where it's just like you're in this house and you just follow the action, and the action
Yeah.
is taking place wherever it is.
Yeah,
It's up
with
to
or
you
without
where you
you,
go,
yeah.
with or without you. I love that idea.
Yeah, it
That's
was
awesome.
cool.
Hassel, did you have one? Oh, sorry, I already said it. You already got
Yeah,
it.
the We Are OFK.
That was my bad.
It just reminds me of my time living in Los Angeles because, I was also trying to make it out there.
As in
In
an
a
indie
band.
band? In a band?
Bad.
Down by the river.
I have two.
Okay, Amanda.
I've already purchased mini motorways because that looks so relaxing. Basically, the houses and stores and stuff pop up on your map, and you just drag roads to make it so that people can go where they want to go, and that's the whole game.
Infrastructure.
And it's just beautiful. You can make roundabouts and you can make highways, and it's all just about making like a clean infrastructure roadmap.
You heard about that game a half hour ago,
Yeah.
and you were playing it 20 minutes ago.
It is open on my Switch on the table right now.
You are playing it right now.
Right now. And then the second game is Card Shark, which they didn't highlight in the showcase. It was one of the ones where they
Oh, yeah.
show you 30 seconds of a picture. But it's beautiful, A. And B, Troy's already told me a little bit about this game, and I'm 1,000% sold after seeing it. There's a guy who's playing cards, and he hires you to be like his second in this scheme he has where you're helping him cheat at cards. So it's your job not to play cards, but to strategically help him cheat at
Yeah,
cards.
it starts easy, like you're pouring wine for the person he's playing against. So you look at their cards, and then the way you wipe down the table indicates what their highest card is. If it's a circle, it's a queen. If it's a up and down, it's a king. And so you actually have to do those motions. I wasn't sure what this game was, and they have a demo of it on Steam, and I was like, I need to find out. I need to do this demo. And the hook of it, it's also a nice little narrative adventure. It takes place in Victorian era style, so it's just
which is already
double
points for me.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But what I started realizing, playing it almost an hour of this game, they're teaching you real cheats.
Yeah.
Like this is not just, hey, we developed like a game in the game or whatever. Like, no, they found like the actual like book where people like made codes to cheat for real, and they're teaching this to you. You could do this in real life.
You shouldn't
And
because
hustle people.
Lots of
You
other people
shouldn't,
know about it
and
now.
we're not.
But also maybe you won't get hustled if you like, hey,
If you know, yeah.
that guy is standing behind me a whole lot and I'm not very comfortable with it. And
Long story short, though, it's a lot to remember, and so you really have to
Yeah.
remember how to shuffle, how to deal these cards. How it gets more and more complicated beyond
Gotcha.
just taking a peek at your opponent's cards. It's fascinating.
what I liked from the preview is they had like a snuff box and they had set it on the
Ooh.
table and it was really reflective and you could see bits of cards being reflected in the top of this box, and I was like, yeah. So like the idea of it being Victorian and then being actual ways that people used to cheat, and then
Yeah,
like
and then it's a fun little story too.
yeah, so that seems great.
That's awesome. So good mechanics, good story. What's not to love?
What's not to love?
And also indie, because that's what this was all about.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And you can learn how to actually cheat at cards.
which is the greatest lesson of all.
Just saying, no one ever play cards with me again. you fair warning.
Well, just you, fine, but you and another person, never.
Actually,
Never play cards with Troy where he knows the waiter.
I'm sorry. It's actually going to be Pepper. It's not even going to be. It's going to be the dog. The dog's going to be like, all right, 2 barks for this, 1 for this, a growl if I'm good.
It also teaches you magic tricks. Sorry, it's a good game. Like, it teaches you real magic tricks, and it actually made me go on YouTube and like learn that magic trick so I could try it out in real life.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
that's exciting.
It's great.
Nice.
It's a good
So
game.
you could go to the Hard Rock Casino and like try it
And
out
get kicked out.
at the poker table.
Yeah, get arrested. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Sounds great. All right. And then the last thing I want to talk about this week is the PlayStation has finally announced at least the starting games.
Oh, yeah.
For its PlayStation Plus tiers, the thing that everything's going to be transferred over to once it happens, I think next month in June. I think then towards the end of June. And so it had some bangers. It had some head scratchers. It had a little bit of everything, I think, and yeah, let's go through some of our highs maybe that we're looking forward to, kind of like what we just did with an indie showcase. But yeah, so the what it's going to be called, the different tiers, is going to be PlayStation Plus Essential. That's the base level PlayStation Plus that we all got right now.
Yeah,
$60
that'll
a year.
get you online access to multiplayer games and also get you 2 to 3 free games every month.
Yeah, what
random.
normally is happening right now. Nothing's pretty much going to change except for the name. And then they have Extra and Premium. And what that is it allows you to have PlayStation 4 games, PlayStation 5 games, and there's going to be, you can download them, you can play different ones, and I think that's like $100 a month. And then you have the last tier, which is the deluxe plan. Or premium plan. And that allows you to have PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games, and then a couple of extra games as well. PSP games as well. It's interesting what they have for those.
Yeah, all the games.
All the games. And I think that's $120. So it's an additional $20 from the previous one. And yeah, those are the 3 tiers. And they've released the games. They're going to be adding new games every single month as well as taking some away. So kind of like how the Game Pass works right now.
Right.
Or Netflix, or however, any of those types of streaming services.
So is that $120 annually?
Annually, correct. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So looking at the games list, I think that middle tier, which is PlayStation Plus Extra, there's great games on here. You have Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut.
Yeah.
These are pretty good. Bloodborne, big hit. Both of the Infamouses, Knack. Need I say more? Knack 1.
I thought you were highlighting good games.
They have both of the Spider-Mans on here. Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, that alone would be enough for people who haven't either played those, or that's like a selling point for the PlayStation by itself. So I'm not surprised to see the Spider-Man games on here, because they will sell this.
The Sony games for the Sony console
system.
make sense. It seems like they're giving you access to all of the games. I think that the difficulty I'm going to run into is that everything that I like on this list, I own.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, me buying this is going to depend on, when the next thing comes out that I want, am I going to get it with this? Or am I going to inevitably buy it and then it comes on this later? Because if that's the case, I don't know if I'm going to get, for me personally, enough bang for my buck.
Yeah.
They've already said that they're not going to be putting their first party games on this. It's not Game Pass.
Yeah, they're not doing
They've already
day
said
one
they're not
releases.
going to do same day and date releases with this. But I mean, if we're talking about maybe a few months later, 6 months later, a year later, maybe there's a ton of games that come out that month, and I wouldn't have time to play it anyway. But for me, I would just buy the games anyway. So I'm in the same boat you're in. It's not that I don't want this deluxe thing. I'd love to try it out.
This is definitely more cost effective. But am I going to wait the month?
No. I'm just going to buy the game. That's if it's a month. What if it's a year?
That's true.
I don't want to wait a year to play a game that I want to play.
Do you think that they'll...
The Horizon's on here, and that hasn't been out for a year. So
Horizon Forbidden West is for I think you can try it. It's a demo.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
demos
didn't
are-
I didn't see
Yeah,
that
so
on
they
there.
have time demos as well. So what you can do is,
that's cool.
I think it's between 2 or 5 hours. I forget how long
2
it is.
hours.
2 hours. There we go. 2
2
hours.
hours.
You can play a game, a brand new game, and you can have a nice time trial. So it's just an extended demo, pretty much.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want it or not. So that's what they're going to be doing with the brand new games that come out. But for me, I think what the most interesting one is the highest tier. It's $120 a year because it includes a lot of older games. It includes a lot of the PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games that you can stream to your console because they still can't natively run it. But that for me is what it is because I love a lot of PlayStation games. And they do have the ones that I like on here.
I got Tekken 2 coming out.
My biggest thing with this is most of the games that I would want to play are on the classics list because everything else on the PS4 and PS5 list I kind of own already.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
am I willing to go 120 a year for Hot Shots Golf?
The answer is yes, because you're not just getting Hot Shots Golf out of bounds. You're also getting Hot Shots Golf World Invitational.
Yeah.
And Hot
And
Shots
Tekken
Tennis.
2. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe just for Tekken 2. Tekken 2 was dope.
Well, listen, we're getting it specifically for Mr. Driller. I already know Joe. We're getting it for Mr. Driller.
I will never have to take my PS1 out again. Yes.
And then I'm getting it for Dark Cloud because it has both of them on there.
I already own Dark Cloud,
know,
though.
so
That's
do
my
I.
problem.
I
Is
know.
I already paid for it.
I mean,
yeah.
well, like besides, like, yes, I think personally, it's like, hey, I have played a lot of these or own a lot of these. I think it's nice if you are someone who's into replaying games or something like that, it's already there. You can just go grab it. Or if it's a game that maybe you sold back that you don't have anymore, it's like, oh, well, I've been wanting to play Infamous again, but I sold that back. But now it's like, here, you can go and play that again. Go get it. Great. And I think if you're just getting a PS5 and maybe you haven't gotten to play a lot of these games, like I think there's a lot of stellar options here for you to like catch up on.
Oh, yeah. I do think it's worth it, even if you only want to play like 2 of the games, because that alone does pay for it, unless you get them on super sale. Like I got Dark Cloud 2, I think, for like $10 or something like that, because I got it on sale. But like if you're curious about other games, I do think it's worth it.
They have Soul Calibur 6 on here. They should pay me to
should.
play that game. It's so bad.
They have Farming Simulator 22.
A game trial.
I don't think I'm going to buy the first iteration of it, but I will be interested to see when they expand the library, because they're definitely going to. Like there isn't a lot. I mean, it's a lot of games, and for $120 a year, if you just put all of the price of those games together, like you're more than getting your monies back. And like we mentioned, if you're the type of person that doesn't play games when they first come out, if you wait a little while, then like this is infinitely less expensive than buying just like 2 games at release.
Exactly.
So I absolutely get it. I don't think I'll buy it, but
I'm interested because like when I think of Game Pass, which they're obviously trying to compete in that realm. When it comes to Game Pass, like if there's a new release on Game Pass, it's not the big titles, it's the smaller ones. It's the Trek to Yomi, it's the Citizen Sleeper, it's these smaller games that are just like, hey, this is a new game and it's out now, would you like to play it? And those are the ones that I'm playing the most. It's not the Halo Infinite or whatnot. I think people are still going to play those. But if PlayStation can get me with some of the smaller games, the indie games, then I think this would become my new Game Pass.
we're not allowed to tangent because this isn't a bonus episode, but I want you to know this was a bonus episode. I would talk about Halo Infinite, which is just a tiny baby Master Chief running around.
Hello,
I just wanted
I'm
to put
Master
that
Chief.
in the
Pew,
ether.
pew, pew. Oh.
Cortana!
Oh.
Cortana!
Cortana's just as binky.
Cortana's like the fed up teenage babysitter. It's just like, oh gosh, I want to be anywhere else but here right now. Everyone else is at the mall.
I would love Halo Infinite as long as he had squeaky shoes.
You just hear death and murder everywhere and just
Yeah.
The Arbiter's
guns.
just his best friend.
/ rival.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Joe and I will buy into it just because I am always curious about new things. I want to see where they progress with it, and always at the end of the first year, it's like if it's not worth it, well then we'll just go back to $60 a year. Like that's the thing with this is that you're already $60 in. Pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
You're already
At the base.
$60 in at base. So is this worth $40 more? Is this worth an
Right.
additional
Right.
$60? Is that's really the question.
Look at Brian trying to sell all of us right now.
Yeah, wow. I wish the audience could see his shoulders and how convincing they were with him. I'm telling you. Hands out, shoulders up.
Very Stan from Monkey Island.
Yeah.
The real question is there have been speculations on our podcast. I don't know if these exist anywhere else, but on our podcast that maybe Sony and Square Enix are kind of like
that's
talking.
right.
So if they got the Square Enix in their catalog, that would be a big.
That's big.
That'd be worth
That's
it.
big. If
I
I could
get it.
finally play Final Fantasy VI on a big
Yeah.
screen,
Oh yeah.
I'd like that.
Because I haven't played all of them. I would go back and play some of the ones that I missed.
Yeah.
I've never played actual 7.
I think
or I
they're
heard
on
9's really
a
good.
lot of them are on
Yeah.
Game Pass, not the older ones, but like
Yeah.
7 and 8 and 9. I think
be a
are on
good get.
Game Pass.
They'd be a
they
good
are.
game.
And by the way, Final Fantasy IX this year is its 20th anniversary.
Nice.
Or
I
sorry,
remember.
it might be a little bit more than that, but 20th anniversary at the very least.
I remember playing that game in high
Crazy.
school.
Yeah.
It was real.
I feel like if they can get some more third-party relationships, and then I have some more like catalog to get pulled in, I'd be more.
Yeah,
I'd be more
agreed.
jazzed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third party lineup looks good too. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's on there. You got some big names in the third parties, and who knows? Maybe
You have some
they
big
probably won't
hitters
do a first party like day one release, but if they can make a good enough deal, maybe a third party first release they can score.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or if they're first party, but they're a month later, I mean, that's not that big
It's
of
not
a
bad.
deal. Yeah.
Right.
I agree. I think even if it's only like 6 months later, I do think that's completely worth it. And by the way, Final Fantasy IX came out 22 years ago. That was on me.
Wow. What, the 13-year Wii Resort
Yes.
dagger wasn't deep enough,
It
Brian?
really was not.
You had to pull that one out.
I did.
I will say, I think for me, a lot of this has to do with I'd probably still buy the game. I'd want to support the company that was making whatever game it is. I'd probably still end up buying whatever it is, just because I like steelbooks, and
Right.
It's true. If it has a steel
you
book,
know,
I'm still in.
But like, I look at that
I'd
list and I
be-
think if you don't own Ghost of Tsushima and you don't own Spider-Man and you don't own literally just one game on that list is almost worth its weight already, and you're
Yeah.
already playing games online.
Yeah.
It's really, I can see why going to the higher tier is great, but at the same time, like, I don't know how long I'd want to wait to play a game. Like, you know, like if 3 or 4 games come out in the same month, I'm not going to play all 3-4 of those games. So I wouldn't care to wait a couple months to play something. But if it's like, if I didn't play Ghost of Tsushima until right now, I would be sad because that game's amazing, but it was a year and a half later.
Yeah.
So like, I wouldn't want to wait that long to get it.
This is a pie in the sky wish. This doesn't make any financial sense. But what I would do is I feel like, you know, you buy a game and then sometimes there's like the season pass for that game. If when I bought into Sony, I just got season passes, I think that would be worth it.
Yeah.
Just like we just bought Wonderlands and it's $30 for the season pass to get the additional content. If that was like their deal of like, I'll buy the game, but if there's additional stuff, I'm bought into whatever that system
Kind of like
is.
what Nintendo's doing with their higher tier, where
Yeah.
like they give you a free expansion pack. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Oh, I'm
It's like
there
I
for
don't
that.
have to
Cool.
continue to pay for things. I'll just pay one flat rate, and then whenever things come out for the things I've already purchased, then I get them. I like that.
Yeah,
It would
I'm
be-
there for that.
I would be very interested to see what percentage of the subscriptions like the developers are getting from PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like what that contract looks like, because
We talked about that for Xbox too, because I think that's also very important.
yeah,
Because Game Pass is a great deal, but is it a great deal for developers? And I think
Yeah.
to Joe's point, if it's an indie developer and they're not getting enough money for then that would be a bummer. I don't know though, so I can't speak.
I've heard it both ways. I've heard developers saying they've made more money through Game Pass than they would have if they tried to sell on their own, just the exposure itself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that. And then also I think again, this
And
is
the
all
deal,
rumor,
whatever deal Xbox is
speculation.
making.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the base is 200,000 to give to a game in order to put it on Game Pass, as well as incentives depending on how many people play it and how many downloads they
right
get.
per download and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and hours played and everything. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. Like, I would love to see one of those contracts just to see what it actually looks like, but that's never going to happen.
I think it was the creator of Trek to Yomi who was talking about just how big the difference was between the money they're making from Xbox versus what they're making on other platforms with this new game that just came out.
Yeah,
Because they got all their money up front with Xbox.
But that was like a front page game. Like you logged in and they were like, play
Yep.
this game. But
Yep.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm less concerned about like their showcased game than like, you know, the 8th game down the list. Have they given away the rights and are they making enough money back for what they've given away? That kind of thing. And that's not me saying that they're not. I just
Yeah,
genuinely
Right.
you're just
don't
curious.
know,
Yeah.
Amanda's concerned about the FIFA replacement game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm glad they released the game list. I'm glad that they said we're going to be adding new games every single month.
Yeah.
I think they said they're going to be adding games for the backwards titles, like the PlayStation 2, that type of stuff. It's going to be in the middle of the month, is what I believe they said.
Okay.
And then as far as like the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games, I think they said it's going to be at the beginning of the month.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. So it'll feel like 2 releases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Exactly. So yeah,
This
it's
all drops on June 13th.
13th. Yeah, less than a month away. My goodness. Crazy.
Just
How
just
fast
in
this
time
is
for our
going.
fast and loose summer.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Loosey
yeah.
goosey.
That's gonna be a fun week.
It's gonna be really fun. Yeah. Because not gonna be many of us on that week.
Mr. Driller. Oh no,
You
it's
guys are
that week.
gonna be out of town. But it'll be fun though. But yeah, I think that will do it for us today, though. Unfortunately,
Wrap it
or
up.
or fortunately, because we talked a lot this week, y'all. It's already over an hour, so we're gonna wrap it up. We'll save our topic for next week.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll talk about it then. But as always, though, you can find us everywhere else until then.
Yeah, we're also online. We're on Discord. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitch. We're at Taste of Dragons. Drop by, say hi, tell us your thoughts, and we'll tell you our thoughts right back.
And just as a reminder, we are also on Still Loading Podcast this week.
Yay!
Yep.
Check us out there as well.
Get some Monkey Island love going on there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Josh is a great guy. Great guy.
Indeed.
Also, come 1v1 me on Switch Sports.
If
ready.
you dare.
He's undefeated.
Check out our Discord. If you want to 1v1 Hassel, drop your Switch code into our Discord.
Podcast
Oh.
discussion channel.
There
Right
you
on.
go. That's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what you got to do. Also, let us know if you have a spell you would like to have in a video from a video game.
Add to our business model.
Hey, listen, anybody out there want to get raised and help Troy and us out? We got this.
Or you could
got
work
you.
for like the people that would have accepted you without anything, and you could work for Amanda and Hassel and I.
Yeah. Go work for the car crash people. Great. Yeah, go
Whoa,
ahead.
we're stopping car
Yeah.
crashes?
Yeah, I know. Who's causing
Unlike
them,
you
though?
guys who were benefiting from car crashes.
I don't know. I feel like you guys might be like that dog that pushed kids into the well, so that way when he rescued them, he gets some
I see
steak.
how
I'm
you're
just saying
making
that
your money.
All of our ideas have been very positive. All of the negative ideas have come from you.
All I'm
So
saying-
the
all I'm saying is
propaganda
that-
you're setting up isn't necessarily reflective of us and our practices.
I feel,
just
like,
what
I
you-
feel like you need
Just
some
what you-
Axie right now. I think you guys need it. I think that's
I'm
Our,
just saying.
our business model is small right now, and is centralized around one piece of, I guess you could call it turf, or in the city. And we're looking to expand, so we're going to need more people.
Fair enough.
Amazing.
Let the wars begin.
Well, as always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
I'm Hassel.
and I'm Joe.
and we are
The
Taste of
of
Dragons. Have a great week, everyone.
Goodbye,
man.
everybody.
So
I
long.
don't know, Troy and I. At least we can advertise. We're gonna get that advertised.
We can advertise too.
Why can't we advertise?
Everyone can advertise. What are you talking about?
Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast, a podcast for everyone's day.